Good morning, everybody on YouTube. It is I, Marianne Lee, with Earth, Air, and Self-Care. Today I have a special guest that I've worked with, Miss Tamina. Before we get into the interview, make sure to give your thumbs up to this video and subscribe if you're not already. And both of our links and handles to everything on social media, Tamina's website, all her social medias, my social medias are all down below. So hang out with us. We hang out mostly on Instagram. I know I like to be over there, as well as Facebook. And so does Miss Tamina. And she does have a website. Welcome, sister. Welcome, Tamina Paris, everybody. I had the privilege to find her through a girl I follow on Instagram, Nutrishka. She's an amazing powerhouse as well. So Tamina is the creator and mother of a wonderful circle of women where we meet on Zoom called Pussy Church. And that's how I found her, and I subscribed to that, and we meet on Zoom and we hold sacred rituals together. Everything from opening up the feminine gates, which is one of her practical practices that she has shared with us and has brought me so much enrichment, to dancing, because Miss Tamina is a dancer. She actually dances, y'all, for Lady Gaga. I think that's so cool. Before I actually met you, Tamina, I actually had set an intentions for that year to learn how to dance more. And then I met you and I was like, yes, the universe is listening. I got to have a dancer practice practitioner in my life and a powerhouse that holds these sacred circles. And we'll take it away. We'll let Miss Tamina just take it away, and she'll introduce herself and more of what her offerings are to the world.
Thank you. Thank you for warmly introducing me. And
I think I might have lost you a little bit. Let's see if it comes back.
can you hear me all right?
Now we're back. Yeah. Sorry, the internet is a little tough because Miss Tamina's all the way in Canada.
And not just in Canada, I'm in like the wilderness. I moved to an office, and we just got Starlink set up, so we're getting used to the internet. So if ever you can't hear me, just do something with your hands, right? And then I'll turn my video off, and then it comes through more clearly.
Oh, okay. I'll snap. How about that?
Yes, perfect. Okay, perfect.
Oh,
all right, yeah.
How amazing to hear that you're in the forest of Canada.
Oh yeah, it's been such a life changer for me. So yeah, just to quickly introduce myself. So everything starts with the body, and everything I do starts with connecting you to your body, connecting you to your intimacy, connecting you to your expression, and deepening into your relationship with yourself. Able to share what you find within yourself, within your intimate romantic relationships. So, what I do is about leading you into that journey inwards to be able to then express yourself fully, whether it's sound, movement, whatever it is, becoming comfortable sharing that first with yourself and then with those that you wish to create more fulfilling, liberated, and authentic relationships with. So, in a nutshell, that's what I do.
That is magic and medicine.
Yeah, the medicine. And you know what's really great about that is, like, when we go into the body, the places that we usually hold the most shame or fear to opening is in our sexuality. Which is why Pussy Church was birthed, because there has been an inversion to the meaning of sexuality and the creative potential that it actually holds. So in that space of Pussy Church, it was about and is about reclaiming the sacredness and the power that is inside of our through the liberation of our sex.
Sorry, can you repeat that last sentence, Tamina? We lost you.
Yeah. Okay. So it's about so in Pussy going back to like the true nature of our pussies, and how that sexuality is tied to our ability to become free in our expression. So the more our sexuality is free, the more we are free to express who we truly are as spirits in these bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Amazing. Yes, I feel that. And I've experienced that firsthand with you. I love all your practices.
Mm.
So can you tell us a little bit more about Pussy Church? Because I would love people to subscribe and, join us, of course.
Well, the piece that I felt curious about is they said you, like, I'd love to hear, like, how was your sexuality connected to your like freedom of expression? Like, what happened for you in that journey?
Being more vulnerable. My vulnerability was able to open up so I could play more in my submissive passiveness, because I have no problem directing and being in control. That was always been one of my first, expressions. But to experience polarity and to experience the opposite was absolutely amazing, because I start to soften up within myself. Thus, I was able to be softer towards my partner and ask just, even when it comes to verbal communication, just asking in a more authentic, softer way too. Just a lot of softness has really allowed to take place in my life after I've been with you, working with you. And I've been on Prissy Church, I think, for about a year and a half now.
Mm.
So it's nice to experience the polarity and to have that balance. Because I heard from an author, it's in Eastern, Western Mind, Eastern Body, or Eastern Mind, Western Body. I'm sorry. Yes, that book is amazing. And she had said, and it resonated so much with me, she said, we are spirit and spirit craves balance. And I'm like, that's so true. Because if you would have asked me, I would have never guessed that I could have all this nourishment from being more soft and submissive and passive and open, and just kind of going with that flow and not worrying about being in control. So, and I was like, no wonder, yes, this was the missing piece. This is what I had been missing.
Mm. Wow. So what I'm hearing in your experience is that through like connecting in Pussy Church and connecting, in this realm that we have been creating together, you and I, you've been able to the true power within softness and the risky, and the balance that comes from vulnerability, in a way that isn't weak, because I feel like that's the, you know
Yeah.
being a woman role is that if I let go, then I'm weak.
Right. There is that negative connotation that we have associated with that. And so I actually feel the power from that. There's actually a lot of great power that is there, and
Mm.
so nourishment that's it's really allowed me to feel my wholeness, which is great, because before I would have to say there I was, there was only fractions of me that were showing up in the world. That's like the
what
best way. I
what
got
was that?
I have to say, before I have gotten comfortable with the practices that you offer, I kind of would say I was acting out of fractals of myself, like parts and pieces of myself. And now there's actually a wholeness that I feel.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes, instead of like these little pieces that are like, trying to like, it's just like, oh, now you're the full sphere, like the full like atmosphere. It's like there's this like,
Hmm.
I just oh, there's like such experience I'm having of like, yeah, like what wholeness is not just about like, oh, I'm a whole piece. It's like in that wholeness, there's like then the dimensional aspect of it, like of like a black hole that like comes in and like expresses out like the sphere of like this creative
Yeah.
come together.
Yeah, and it creates like that womb feeling too. That biosphere creates almost like that womb feeling for me. So it's like very self-nourishing. It makes me feel safe, makes me feel protected. And also the biggest thing was like really realizing how I was so orgasm and performative focused when I would be in my sexual expressions, and how I really just needed to like degress. Really, I just needed to digress a little bit and be more in my body and listen to more of what feels good than what looks good, and be able to drink from that nourishment and feel that nourishment come into my spirit and my cells and my body. And that's been amazing because, yeah, the orgasms are great, but it's not all, or pleasure doesn't even have to be orgasm focused at all. There doesn't have to be any release.
Mhm.
And if you would have told me that years ago, I'd been like, what? Then why do it? You know what I mean? Because I was so focused on orgasm focused release.
Mm.
And sexuality, as we know now, and as I know, and I got to experience through practices, feeling safer in my body because of you, doesn't have to do with penetration. Yeah. So breaking up those distortions and societal beliefs and programs,
Mm.
and really building true self intimacy, self pleasure that has nothing to do with getting penetrated. Yeah.
Mm. I feel so much joy just like hearing this unfolding of your lived experience.
Hmm. It's amazing. Thank you for helping me to feel.
Sex,
Oh, sorry. I think we're losing you a little bit. Thank you for helping me feel safe to open this part of me. It was through as like on a
I'm here. So you said it was through.
it was through you holding those containers for us on Zoom to really self experience it first and get familiar with it before I could even present it to a party that's in my life, or a relationship that's in my life. 'Cause I had to understand it first. Yeah. And in order for me to understand it, I had to feel it. Like I had to feel, because it's kind of explaining to someone maybe that's, someone that, let's say they can't see. It's kind of trying to explain a rainbow to them. But if you've never seen the rainbow yourself, you're like, how do I words, our human words really don't, so I had to feel it first. I had to embody it first, and then I was able to relate it to the people in my life.
Uh, I love that you're saying this because I feel like describing the work that I do. It's like describe the place that I'm in and wanting to share. If you haven't been there before, how can I have the words to describe that? It's like you need to feel it for
Yeah.
yourself, and then you will define it based on your experience rather than me trying to tell you what it's going to be. You must feel it for yourself first, and that's powerful.
Yeah. It's a feeling, exactly. It's beyond cognition. It's beyond cognitive mind.
Mm. And it lasts forever. Like it can't, like a lot of people like they fear like, oh, like I felt that then it's gonna go away. It's like, no, it's integrated, it's part of you. It's like the fractals you talked about. It's like
Yeah.
it's together.
Yes, and I also have to say it was very too powerful to me because I have felt depth with my lover before, but to be able to open that up by myself is absolutely amazing too, because I thought I had to depend on an external party to get there.
Mm.
And now I know it's soul. It's a soul. Actually, I have this soul ability to do it, this self ability to do that. I could cultivate this, harnessed it myself, and I could cultivate it myself. And I could share it with whom I choose to if they are worthy. And if not, I share it with me and I'm allowed to drink from that water well whenever I want.
Mm, yes. Ah,
So yeah, y'all got to go to Percy Church because I mean, I wanted to like say which ritual or practice is my favorite, Tamina, but they all that's so hard. I love them all. That is so hard. It's like I love them all, and they all have their own medicine and potency.
yes, absolutely. And like changing over in Pussy Church, like now we're meeting once every other month. And then we have like that full catalog available. Like, so the areas that we're exploring together are like relationships, pussy connection, unlocking pleasure, clear mind and communication, sensual explorations. I believe that's all. Oh, and sounding and breath work.
Mm.
So 6 like pillars of exploration
Mm-hmm.
to reach for aspects of ourselves and like wanting to go back to that space, like, and we don't feel like being in practice anymore. And it's like you got to choose your joy, like choose what's joyful for you.
Yeah.
There's so many pathways to connect with yourself. Choose one that feels good instead of forcing yourself somewhere.
Yes.
Practice in groups, like practice with your sisters, your brothers, like be in community. That's in reflecting like new aspects of yourself that maybe you can't see on your own.
Yes.
um, and also remembering that like this too shall pass, like whatever you're feeling now, whether it's longing or being on the outside, know that everything happens in cycles and we can trust that, you know, the feeling change, it will transform. And instead of lamenting what once was, try choosing to zone in on like what is here for you now, like what lesson is here,
Mm.
what version is trying to emerge, and how can you allow for more ease in that emergence, like how can you help it, how can you help yourself birth the next iteration of yourself that's trying to come through.
I love that.
So,
That's
so
something that I've loved about your work is how you always implement that in, like, be with what is now. Cause like you said, we're so usually goal orientated and we want to fix and patch and mend right away, right? That we don't give ourselves enough time to just kind of marinate in what is, hold it, be in it, and that's enough. That's enough. That is a lot of the medicine right there is just to be in what's now. And I think there's so much like we're cognitively, we think there's so much action based that needs to happen to fix things. And actually, there's actually just a real like setting and being in the now that needs to happen. You don't need to run out and go, fix it and try to patch it up. Being in it is half of the patching up. I don't think people realize that.
I feel like it's 75, I think it's like
Yeah,
90%.
90% of the healing, huh? Or
Oh
the
yeah,
the
I,
completion.
I would almost say 100, because it's like if you're fighting it, like there's no moving through it. It's just like resistance against resistance.
That's so true.
Same with the relationship aspect you were saying of like, when you were able to be in your soft power, there was more flow in your relationships. Well, because before it was like two hard powers, two
Mhm,
energy going against each other. So
mhm.
inner marriage and transformation, if we can't um, be with what's there, it and soften into it, it won't be able to continue its process.
Yeah, I seen something amazing today that a sister shared, and it said about manifestation. And of course, we're all here manifesting our desires and our dreams, right? And it said in order for that to happen, we have to have the positive force and the negative force, which is the sex of the sex of the being too, the you know the male and the feminine, the masculine and the feminine. The energy has to be really conducive in order for manifestation. And I was like, wow. I was like, that totally makes sense, because then there's that flow instead of that resistance.
Exactly. It's the dance of creation, the dance of all creation comes those polarities spiraling and dancing with one another.
Yeah, and that's a universal law, by the way. That's not like something we're just making up.
Exactly.
Let me just say that, right? This is not like just from our belief system. That is a universal law of like quantum physics at its finest, and metaphysics.
Well, it's like as you say that, Marianne, I feel called to share, like, because this is what this is all about, like Pussy Church softening into ourselves, intimacy, sharing it. Like it's about being able to come together again in that divine union of creation, within ourselves, with the universe, with our partners. Like that's what's being called for this next iteration of the world. Like our collective consciousness is asking to learn how to come together again.
That's so true. I feel that.
Mm.
That's what the world needs, and that's what we're here. That's the evolution, the way evolution's going for sure. So, if someone wants to practice and be in this enrichment state, I would have to say it's a really enrichment state and a really more fulfilling, satiating life, then they need to go check out Pussy Church. Because your containers your containers are so expressive, they're safe, they're amazing. Tamina is a great teacher, great leader. She's so connected to her intuition. I always know it. I'm always looking so forward to what we're doing in Pussy Church, and I love how you like really always sync with the seasons too, because you're in sync. So we sync with nature as well.
Mm. Yes. And I also want to say, like, there's a new creative that's coming through me now. Like I'm starting a new container, and I would love the opportunity to share the words that were channeled through in this container. It feels really relevant to what we've been talking about.
Yeah, go ahead, sister. Yes.
Okay. So it's called Letting in Your Lover.
Mm,
So this is a 4-month journey with me to explore and expand your depth of intimate. We will practice receptivity, honesty, and opening to love. A kind of love that invites your insecurities into wholeness.
mm,
You'll integrate your soft power and dance fully expressed in your femininity, staying full, supple, and responsive while in relationship with the masculine. Hiding no more, no longer looking away from depth, substance, and fulfillment, and instead inviting it into you.
mm.
Woman, you are a beautiful, intentional contradiction of vulnerability and softness, mixed with insurmountable power, resilience, and straight up magic.
Mm.
Mm. Our kings are waiting and ready, all that you are. The movement of individual empowerment is shifting. We are to learn how to come together as divine consorts, fully empowered beings within our romantic relationships, joining forces to co create a beautiful future for this world in transition. First, it starts with you. Are you willing to let him in? Mhm.
Mm. That's beautiful. Wow, yes. We all need that deep connection, that deep depth part of ourself to be A, discovered, and B, explored. Mhm.
Yes. Are we willing to let that love in? And to continue that creative spiral, right? That we're here
Yeah.
to body. So yeah, so there's an application process. So I guess I'll just send the application link to you, Marianne, and you can share that to whoever.
Yeah,
res-
I'll list it down in the description box of this video for sure. That sounds like such a juicy container. Oh, yes. Oh, I really wanted to say too, one last thing before we wrap it up, sister. One last thing I really love and appreciate is doing that private container that I worked with you too. So Tamina does offer private containers too, as well as Posty Church. And like she just said, this journey that she just mentioned, that is, well, it's going to be like a small group, right, Tamina? But then they get opportunity to meet with you one-on-one a few times during the container.
this 4-month container.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll be meeting in the group, and you'll feel like it's just you and me anyway.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I would have to say I have gotten more, potency and guidance and enrichment and clarity once I did that container with you too. And I loved that you helped me realize what fortresses were and what healthy boundaries were. Because I don't think enough people have self intimacy to really know the difference. And if we have those fortresses up, they are an extreme block to, accessing our pleasure and accessing our authentic, vulnerable, raw selves. But yes, then we have to know the difference between what is a healthy boundary to really know ourselves. What does need to be placed in order for me to feel safe, though.
Mm.
I loved that aspect in our container that you exposed that and brought that to my understanding and allowed me to have that deeper provoked thought behind that. And now I'm able to really orientate that in my life and reconceptualize it into a healthy functioning way for myself.
Mm. Yes, thanks for bringing that one up. That's so important. The difference between fortresses and foundations. Thank you for bringing that teaching forward. Yes, we're going to absolutely be exploring that in this container too, about letting your lover in, because how can we let love in if we have a fortress surrounding us on all sides? So
Right. And that's so important because we all have had unfortunate events happen to us to some degree. We've all had unfairness, injustice, small traumas, big traumas. So it's learning how do I know which one is really needs to be there and which one could be taken away so I could feel the depthness of my being.
mm, mm.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, thank you, sister. Is there anything more you'd like to say before we wrap things up?
um no, it feels good to be here with you and to be able to continue like our relationship beyond the container and be here and witnessing you and your embodiment of what you're expressing now. Like it just
Thank
um
you.
yeah, it feels good to be here with you and just honoring you and thanking you for inviting me in this next that you're.
Thank you too, sister. Yes, absolutely. It is a pleasure to be here and have these embodied conversation, as I say, wow, because not everyone I don't get to be this descended with everyone, but I'm learning who my, my discernment is building stronger of who can meet me here, because this is a deeper part of our humanitarian side that is needed and not everyone is there yet, but that's okay. We're all evolving.
Mm,
And you are one of those sisters that's very I feel a lot of reciprocity with you, a lot of equal exchange of energy.
stay.
uh, well, thank you everyone. Make sure to go and check out all of Miss Tamina's handles down below. She has her own website. The registration link to her next 4-month container will be down there. And like I said, like this video because it really helps my algorithm on YouTube. She has juicy things that she always puts on Instagram too. So I would highly suggest you follow her Instagram. She, you provoke thought, sister. You provoke thought and you provoke expression and you provoke freedom, which is amazing. So thank you for showing up in the world as you are and who you are and all your offerings.
Thank you.
You're
My
welcome. You're welcome. Thank you everybody for watching and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.